His name is John Robert Badger, and he's running for president 2028. So he came to Miss Nitra's platform, and she did a sit-down interview with him, and that's what we're listening to. I'll tell you why I won't vote for him. I can't speak for the 602 of you in the building, but I'll speak for myself. One, he stated that he will not be producing any livestock images of his community activism on his website. That's for one. One, I don't live in the state of Louisiana or the city of Monroe, Louisiana, so I don't know what the fuck he does on a daily basis. So if you don't show me your work, I can't prove you're actually doing what you said you did. Two, he's quite ambiguous about his education. Now, education is not important to be president, but if he totes himself as being this well-versed, educated man, I need to see that. He has not produced anything in regards to his education, even though he brags about his education. Okay? He brags about his education, not me. So him saying, well, you can go to website.com and you can search me. Why don't you just publish that on your website? That's a red flag, right? The second thing he stated is that I don't do interviews. So you're running for president of the United States, and there's over 330 million active voters, and you don't want to do an interview with larger publications. So we'll never know who you are. I just so happened to come across this video because it was sent to me. But had it not been sent to me, I wouldn't even know you were running for president. Right? That's another red flag. Then the fourth red flag, I can't even keep up. He stated that he had closed down 36 prisons. He didn't state whether they were federal or state, but he said he closed down 36 prisons on his own by himself. When we searched that information, only 4 prisons in the state of Texas and in the state of Louisiana have been closed due to budget cuts and state representative members voting to close them. He did not elaborate how he had them closed. He did not state if he was working as a lobbyist against those prisons, but he stated 36. We counted 4 that were due to budget cuts by state representatives. So either he's going to come forward and tell us why he lied about, because those are lies. It has nothing to do with the cadence of how he talks, his southern accent, or that he's a black man. It's because he is actively lying on the internet. That is why I won't be voting for him. And God only knows if we're going to get another interview. He said he doesn't do interviews. He said he won't publish his credentials. He said he won't publish or show us his philanthropy or his philanthropic work. We don't know shit about this guy because he won't tell us. But he wants my vote. He's not getting my vote. Okay? And this is one interview. This is not a mashup of it. This is one interview. And those are enough pink flags for me. Politicians are already sketchy as it is, okay? Already sketchy as it is. The final red flag is him saying that he's using his own money to run his campaign. That is illegal. It is illegal. It is illegal to use your own money for your campaign if you are not telling us where it came from and how you spent it. I went to the FEC.gov. I didn't find any of his disclosure of any of that money and where it came from. So no, he won't be getting my vote. He'll be getting this recap of this interview. That is what he will get. He's not going to get a vote. He's going to get a recap of this interview until he does another interview and he answers those questions. Why have you not filed your FEC filings? Where is that money coming from? That $40,000 you said that was yours. Where did it come from? Why are you not publishing your credentials that you're bragging about? I didn't ask about his credentials. I want to make that clear. I don't know the guy from a can of paint. He bragged about his credentials. Why are you not publishing them for us? Why are you not publishing your philanthropic work? Why are you not doing interviews? He stated in this interview that he only had received 21 cents from the public and he had got backlash, so he sent it back. It costs $2 to $5 billion to run in the general election for president. He's not going to get very far with $36,000. Okay? So there's a lot. So whoever asked that question, great question, but that's why I won't be voting for him. Everybody else, that is your business.
I learn from you. People going to talk, whether you hear or you stretched out of the church or in the ground. People will talk. So I allow them to have their talking spaces. But make sure when you do talk about me, please mention my name that's down there so they'll get to know that name and not the name my family called me. Thank you. With that being said, I haven't.
Somebody sent me a screenshot. So I have a screenshot of his. Okay, so in the clips that I was sent to listen to this interview, I also got a screenshot, and now the screenshot makes sense. The screenshot was of a Cash App tag, so now it's making sense. I'm like, why would I be sent this? This is a Cash App tag. When was he? It was in Miss Nitra's live. When was he crowdfunding in Miss Nitra's live? Because I don't see that in this interview here. So, for the person who sent me that DM or that DM on Instagram, can you tell me when was his Cash App tag published in Miss Leach's live? Because I've watched this full interview. We're almost done. We're not done yet. Don't leave. We're not done. When was it published?
Enjoyed this
and
moment.
Earlier,
I wanted to open up and allow questions from the audience, but that will only be on the strategy of you and your Rhea, your wife. I look forward to seeing you go further. And when you speak on the prisons, and because I did repeat shut down prisons, I want to make sure I don't leave on a sour note. What exactly did you do in the prison system when you say...
Thank you. She asked a follow-up question about those prisons. Thank you, Miss Nitra. Thank you.
Worked in the prison system.
So I was a CO officer. As a matter of fact, while I'm talking about this, you can actually go look me up. It's John Robert. A lot of people don't know me by John Robert Badger. It's John Robert, which is my first and middle name. And you can pull it. You can actually pull this article up where it shows I shut down Ridgewood Correctional Center. I was a whistleblower.
Okay, Ridgewood Correctional Center. Let's look that up. Okay, he's right. So finally a truth comes out. Okay, so it says John Roberts, a former correctional officer at Ridgewood Correctional Facility, reached out to us to say he's worried about the safety and welfare of the inmates he used to protect. Roberts said he worked at the privately owned prison for a month before being fired, and during that time, he documented everything that he saw. Seeking to bring permanent change to the facility, he claimed that the prisoners were treated like dogs and than human beings. And a quote, John Roberts said, I was taught how to hate them. He tells us that one of his first lessons he learned as a CO, he said, it made me feel horrible. And I thought that I was taught that I could have a pocket knife just in case something went down. He said 2 to 4 weeks I've seen inmates. It was longer than without a shower. An inmate had a seizure. Lieutenant said he was faking it. Inmates under the bed, the inmate on the side of the bed and by the toilet. He said, worst month of my life, but I didn't do it for me. I did it because I seen people in pain, and these prisoners are not protected. Yeah, prisoners are not protected at all. He goes on to say that, or the article by My Arc Mills, it's like a local paper, said they reached out to them, but they said no comment. They said we referred to the company's lawyer, who is unavailable until Monday. So we also reached out to the Louisiana Department of Corrections, but did not hear back. Now let's look and see if this prison is closed. And let's see why it was closed. Okay, this was an ICE facility. It was a prison, but this is from the general inspector about this place. It was a privately owned prison, but it was an ICE facility. And it was a report by the inspector general on February 20th of 2023. Now, remember, Robert's report, when he sat down with the news, was in 2018. So even after he became a whistleblower, it still remained open until 2023, but I don't know if it's closed yet. But a report came out in 2023, so I'm not entirely sure. So the report contains 8 recommendations aimed at improving care for the detainees at the ICE facility, which is called Richwood Correctional Facility. The office concurred with all 8 recommendations, and we consider the recommendations to solve and close the 7 recommendations to resolve and open. Once the office has fully implemented these remaining recommendations, please fill out this form in order to basically keep the facility open. And this, you can read this report. They just wrote this report by the inspector general, but it doesn't say if it's closed or not, but it does say it's a pretty heinous place to send migrants. So let's see if it's open. Well, they have their visiting hours up. I don't know if it's open or not. I mean, it looks open. I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, it doesn't say it's closed. It just says hours of operation. I mean, it's closed because of the weekend, but closed in 2011. I don't know or not. If it was a correctional facility in 2018, because it's privately owned, so it could have become ICE detention because the facility has, the actual facility already exists. So maybe they converted it to an ICE detention, but it's an ICE detention. Ridgewood Ware in Monroe, Louisiana. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't look like I don't want to say it's open. I don't want to say it's closed, but I'm not going to say it's closed. No, I'm on their website. They have hours where you can call detainees. Like, I'm not trying to sound mean or anything. I'm just like, you sent me an email? Okay, let me check. I didn't get it. What email did you send it to? Let's see. That was 2018. I saw that. Thank you for the email. I don't know if you want me to say your name or not, but thank you for the email. But that was okay. Let me break this down so we're not all confused. So he said that he closed down a prison called the Richwood Correctional Center. In 2018, he did sit down with the local news and he was a whistleblower. That was in 2018. It's a privately owned prison, right? So which means if it closes down, it can be repurposed into whatever the fuck they want to repurpose it into. Okay, it's private. According to the ICE website, ICE, in Immigration, Customs and Enforcement, according to their website, the Ridgewood Correctional Facility is indeed open, but it is an ICE detention facility. So could he have closed it down as a regular privately owned prison? Yeah, but because they've had violations before him. There were violations, but because it's privately owned, all they did was go to the Inspector General. I showed you the report. The Inspector General in 2013. This is the report. The Inspector General in 2023 said, "Hey, we got some issues with this place. Fix these issues, and you're good as gold." They clearly fixed them because the place is open. Whatever the issues were, I didn't read the article too deep, but whatever the issues they were fixing, they fixed, right? By the Inspector General. So could they have repurposed from a regular prison that just took regular inmates to an ICE facility? Yeah, it's privately owned. They can do whatever they want. So could he say he had a dealing with it closing? Technically, yes. Technically, he's technically correct, right? The good kind of correct, because you're technical about it. But did he close that facility in its entirety? No. The facility is open, and now it is an ICE detention center. So did he close down the prison? Did he have a hand in closing down the prison? Possibly. But they reopened, What about the rest? That's 1 of 36. And technically, it's not really 1 because it's reopened as an ICE detention facility. So I don't know. So he back at 30. He back at 0. Okay, shit. Okay, let's finish out his interview because there's a bit more.
And it talks about more things on that same platform about me shutting down prisons. So what I did was I went in these prisons. They didn't know who I was. They didn't know why I was there. I signed up for a job, and I went up on an investigation. And when I got to the end of my investigation with these prisons, I took every evidence I had. I stacked it against them. I called in the FBI. We worked together to shut these prisons down. And that's what I did.
There you have it.
I want the list. He named 1 that's still open as an ICE detention facility. He named 1. I want to see the other 35 and a half. And if you're a whistleblower, typically, I've never seen whistleblowers use their real names. His name is all over that article. I was like, you're a terrible whistleblower. Because if you had whistleblowed about this facility that was once a prison, now a ICE detention facility, why would you use your real name as the whistleblower? He said he came in and he came out. According to this article, he was fired. Maybe because of the atrocities he was seeing, so he just couldn't do it, so they fired him. Fine, but he made it sound like he quit. No, it sounded like you got fired. So you got hired at 36 prisons? You got hired at 36 prisons?
And I want to say, I think our job here is done. I think that you have said enough. You have given us your vision. You have talked about the strategy.
You have talked
about the pressure points, and you have talked about your change. I don't believe in allowing for people to pounce on anyone. I want to say thank you. If there's anything else that you would like to leave us with, you can at this time.
Well, as I always say, if you guys want to go out there and support the cause, you guys can go to electjohnbadger.com. Go down, slide down, all the way down to the donate page. You guys can donate and help the cause. I also gave you a cash out, Miss Nitra, that you guys can get from Miss Nitra, share it across your platform. You guys can actually start fundraising for our campaign. Understand that our campaign is your campaign. I won't do no more than you can because I'm asking you to help me. So if we helping each other, we can move forward. But if we just sitting here waiting on me to do it all, then it won't get done. So if you want to see me in that seat, the action is now. Go handle your business. I appreciate the gifts on TikTok, but I can't pull them off TikTok. I have to come back and give them to somebody else like Miss Nitra for her daily heart needs because it's against the FEC rules. I'm not allowed to accept gifts. So with that being said, those gifts don't help me. I appreciate you, but they don't help me. It's nothing I can do with them. If you want to help me, go out there and, do those things for me. And I appreciate that. And we do have signs. If y'all want them, just go on the website and request them. And some of the signs do cost because they're big signs. It's a 4-foot by 8-foot sign. And you can, and we do things like that. I'm going to start reading these comments because some of these people are funny.
Yeah, they're hateful, but one thing I do know, we're used to it. We're used to it. People, the thing is, jealousy is the
I found, okay, I had to keep digging on his website. So he does show his philanthropic work on his website. Here he is. Hold on, let me show y'all. So he does show it. I found it. So if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you got to click on photos. He probably should just make he should probably add this to about him page. So yeah, so here's his work. Look like he's doing food drives here. I'm not sure what that is. What is that? He said, we cry in our communities and care. Oh, it looks like he was at a funeral and then him giving back. And then this last one is a disaster all around. But in America, we don't normalize ignoring. We, the people, fix the problem. And it's just a random picture of a flood. So he doesn't really say if he does anything about this flood. It's just a random picture of a flood. So hold on. Let's see what else we got. So he does show his work. Okay. He said events. His previous event was something that happened August 17th. I'm not entirely sure what that event was, but I don't think it doesn't let you click on it. But okay, so he had an event on August 17th, and then let's see his endorsements. He doesn't have any endorsements. Okay, let's finish his interview.
Of people doing the things that you see down here: envy, hate, strife, bitterness. A lot of them probably aren't even registered to vote. So it'll be somebody that has never even went to an election poll. So we just but you're tough for this.
The funny thing is they're gonna be the same ones in my inbox asking me what I can do for them.
Exactly.
All the time. I get it all the time.
Exactly. Now, do you want to answer any questions from the comment section? Okay, so I will allow it. If it gets disrespectful, you will be dropped by a moderator. There's a lady downstairs that says she needed some help about a kid in prison. I think this was a great interview. I love your energy, and I love that you can look through those comments and you
I'll say this about Miss Nitra. She asked really good questions.
Push forward and stand on what you believe in. These people are hateful on this internet, and that's just what that is. They're just hateful.
I can't see the comments, so I don't know what y'all.
Welcome up.
Were y'all in these comments? Because I can't see them. They're too tiny. I can't read them.
Hi, Miss Nitra. Hi, everybody. Hello, sir.
How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. So Miss Nitra and some of her platform know of me because I am real big on prison reform. So I live in the state of California, and you've closed down prisons. Our governor, Gavin Newsom, as you may or may not know,
that's my man,
has closed a lot.
I love me some Gavin Newsom. That's my
of private prisons in our
It's in our bio. It's too long to say. Just go to our page here. It's in our bio.
He is now implementing real rehabilitation for the men and women who come home from prison.
Right.
What will be your stance in regards to prison reform? Because a lot of the states from your state on east have a lot of private prisons that are money prisons, not state ran.
It's a great question.
So what will be your stance on that, number one? Number two, when you mention homelessness affects vets, ex-felons, and people with mental conditions. And lastly, the message I'll drop, when you reference the police, a lot of other countries, before officers can become officers, they have psych evals. And if people don't understand, before an inmate can be released from prison, they have a psych eval. So what makes them different from the officers who serve us, who are supposed to protect us from them? Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And there are no difference. I appreciate that question. I did used to live in San Bernardino, California. I'm fully aware of, and that's where I got the idea from.
He's lived a lot of places for a 36-year-old. I'm, 39 going on 40. I haven't lived in that many places. He's lived quite a few places.
Come back to Louisiana and actually do that. And that was some good questions. Yes, and the psych files is something that's the.
We're listening to an interview with presidential candidate John. I'm sorry. Let me pull up his page. Sorry. Let me pull up his page so you guys know who we're talking about. Where was his at? Ballotopedia? We're listening to the interview with presidential candidate John Robert Badger, and he was being interviewed by Miss Nitra today. His jacket is everything. This jacket is something else. And we're listening to his interview and, his talking points of being the candidate.
That Miss Nitra is going to be over. That's what she's going to be doing. So that would be a question for her on that part, because I'm allowing her to run her part how she wants to run it. Now, although she will be overseer, yes, she will have to answer to me, but I want to make sure that she's implementing what she wants to implement, to make sure that I don't step on any toes. There's a position for a reason, and because I give that's I'm fully
sorry. I want to hear his answer.
Aware of, and that's where I got the idea from, to come back to Louisiana and actually do that.
Chelsea,
and that was some good questions. Yes, and the psych files is something that's the department that Miss Nitra is going to be over. That's what she's going to be doing. So that would be a question.
What department is Miss Nitra part of his campaign? I don't know if I caught that. I didn't know she's a part of his campaign.
Her on that part, because I'm allowing her to run her part how she wants to run it. Now, although she will be the overseer, yes, she will have to answer to me, but I want to make sure that she's implementing what she wants to implement, to make sure that I don't step on any toes. There's a position for a reason, and because I give that position, don't mean I have to sit there and step around somebody and say, oh, this is what you're supposed to know. I allow them to do what they're going to do. That'll be a question for her. But as far as just the Constitution, they're not just taking Constitution classes. We're also doing psych classes in.
I'd have to read into that.
Constitution classes.
I'd have to read into that because, yeah.
This would be a college course that every officer has to take, a college course. And we're going to squeeze in everything that needs to be in there. So we're going to take care of that. I appreciate you for your question.
Yeah.
And to answer that question, now that I can answer it, we talked about this earlier and yesterday. It was actually one of my questions when we went our day before the praise break. We talked about better screenings with.
Okay, so I got one more clip. Give me 2 shakes, okay?
Do you have any past?
Okay, so this is the end of the interview